This church was abandoned not because of what happened inside, but because of what they let out. 1981, this reporter, his name is Gabriel, and this man decided to visit this abandoned church that had been abandoned over 50 years. Now when he got there, the locals around there, like people that are still around, they told him not to enter that church. That church was banned for a reason, because they suspected ritual killings going on inside the church, and that's why the government had to close the church. But just because this reporter wanted views and likes, he decided to go inside the church for his report. But when he got inside there, what his eyes saw, nobody could explain it even up to today. Now this church was abandoned because when the church was opened in 1805, there were a lot of priests that started the church, but in less than 5 years, 5 priests died. Now it was looking like it was a coincidence, not until they started changing priests, and every year priests do die there, and they started suspecting some ritual killings in the church. That's why the church was closed. But all those ones did not concern Daniel. All he wanted was his report. When he went inside the church, everywhere was dark because he went in the night. He wanted it to be more spicy, so he went in the night. When he got in, he was just looking around and he said to start taking some pictures, but that was the biggest mistake of his life. Immediately he opened his camera and flashed the lights. You know when you want to snap, the two bring out flashlight if that place is dark. Immediately the flashlight on, the whole one now bright. You know at that point, what he saw will blow your mind. Hold on. Immediately the flashlight on, what he saw inside the room was a group of men in a circle wearing some red garment like they want to do a ritual. But the crazy part of this thing is that these people are not living beings, because they were not standing on the ground. They were floating on the air, and all they were reciting a scripture of the Bible. But instead of forward, they were reciting it backward. See what the time now clock in the reporter had to leave there immediately. But unfortunately for him, when he turned to leave, the door he came in with, he could not find it again. It was covered with stone. He was so scared and he started screaming. The locals that were living around there had to run down to the church arena, but the door to enter inside, they could not see it again. Everybody was just outside the church. They were hearing the scream from inside, but nobody knew exactly what was going on with him inside. Now what they only said is that when they came back in the morning to see what happened, they saw the door open and only his camera was at the doorstep of the door, and nobody could see any trace of his body because nobody wanted to go inside. But they said they saw some particles of blood on the door and around the camera. Even up to today, they have not found him. Nobody have heard of him. Even the family have tried to reach him, but no way. It now leads us to the big question. Does it mean he died inside there, or maybe he escaped or something? Now put yourself in his shoe. Will you be able to take such risk just because of like and comments maybe on TikTok?